I'm glad that we got a couple of answers to some of the questions that we had. And I love hearing the players' perspective too on why they think they got a spot, why they deserved that spot, what they can offer to a team. I think that's really insightful to their own growth mindset, Gubby.
And I think with Vital as well, I mean, this is someone that we never watched in the amateur system. So I think that kind of hearing his take on why he feels like he was selected is interesting because I think some of it, the champion pool, his willingness to play aggressively, and how he plays those champions in team fights, I think are a lot of bright spots, and I'm excited to see him round out his skill set here in Academy.
Yeah, especially too, we all had our own thoughts, just that you were talking earlier when we had the long break about the seeing the little details in those team fights that sometimes players have it, some don't, but it's cool hearing what each person has to say about each thing. But that's all in the past. I'm glad that we got that interview. Glad we got to find out a little bit more. We have to go on to our next matchup, which, Pyra, I think you described during the break as a banger. Team Liquid up against Cloud9. Oh,
yeah.
Why is this a banger? I see the smiles. I see the nods.
Just, look, I mean, coming to tell you
good
too.
Stuff.
Like, I mean, right now you got the team that's #1 in Academy. They're looking so hot with Team Liquid. At the same time, C9 have their full roster back. We aren't going to be seeing them on sub squad, which means I think this is just going to be so close. I fully expect C9 to look really good, especially considering the part of no shade at their subs, but like I think the top half of the map for them has just looked so good up until this point anyways. Darshan and Sheeden, really strong duo as well. I think there's a lot to like about this squad. I think they'll give Team Liquid quite a lot to challenge.
Okay, and you're talking about a squad that you think is going to be good, but this is going up against a squad that is proven to be good. Team Liquid's roster, it's one that has not changed, and it's one that has been very successful, I'd say, in what they're doing. Sure, there was a little bit of a stumble a couple weeks ago, but I have to say, even looking at each of these players and what they offer, Cubby, there is a lot of talent here.
And again, our champions are returning from Proving Ground Spring. And yes, they did drop that set to CLG, but how do they respond? They have the fastest game of all time in Academy against Immortals in 1837, and a near perfect game against Dignitas. Like, if you are a championship team and you are looking to play at the highest level, you have to do things, or I expect things like you to do more when it comes to this. And Team Liquid, they are delivering upon that promise. It has been a pleasure to watch them early in the split. And I'm really excited to see what happens with this matchup against Cloud9, because Cloud9, they're a team that truly believes they can challenge the top of the table of Team Liquid. They don't have a full week of practice even, but hey, the full roster is here together, and I'm curious to see if they can actually live up to what they are pitching themselves as and give our defending champs a run for their money, because outside of a bad match against CLG, Team Liquid have been unchallenged across the Rifts.
Yeah, definitely take a look at that scoreline down at the bot for the Zerius, considering we saw some big ones last game. I think draft's going to be really important for both these squads, but with the full roster back for Cloud9 as well, I do think even if they haven't had as much time to practice in the week, you've got some chances to really show some strength after flexing a little bit on the LCS stage. I think I liked what I saw at King of Destiny.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit more in depth about this Cloud9 roster. I know you're raring to go about it, Pyre. You keep hinting at it. You keep slowly bringing it up. Look who's back. Look who's doing good. Look where all the potential is. Tell us why you have such a big smile on your face.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some people to talk about. I think also just looking at the strength of this roster, especially in the top half as well. Darshan is a player that's just got experience in spades and has been absolutely whomping people in this top side. I know we talked a lot about how much strength there is in the Academy tops. I think Darshan could very easily start LCS as he has done in the past. Sheeden has set up really well. I think Copy's put in some respectable plays too. But yeah, King and Destiny back, I think that's a game changer.
Really is. And Cubby, now that they are back, what are we expecting to see out of them back in Academy?
Well, frankly, Pyra, I appreciate you being positive on King of Destiny and liking their LCS appearance. It was an 0-3 week for C9. I don't think King and Destiny played great on that stage, but in Academy, King is a player that has dominated the league in the past. He has won multiple splits of Academy, and King is still the winningest player ever in Oceanic history. He has the most trophies, and he is returning with Destiny, another player that he won championships with on that stage. So I'm excited to see these guys really hit it in Academy and see if they can kind of bring together some of the old synergy that we've seen from them in the past and help, again, this roster live up to the expectation, which is they are a roster that can win the entire league.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think it is very fair that they didn't have like maybe the greatest showing in an 0-3 week, but I just thought the positioning was solid. The history that you mentioned, especially with regards to King's accolades, I just trust that they're going to be able to put in a good showing.
Okay, well, we in our post-match interviews do get opportunities to talk to the players and get little thoughts of what they're thinking. So we're gonna throw to a clip to catch a little bit of C9's thoughts heading into the split.
Most like solo queue players, like Shiden's like a Giga solo queue player, so it's a bit hard to get into competitive at first, but I think with time he'll definitely be the best jungler by the end of the split, because he definitely has the mechanics for it. So we just got to control his brain, you know.
I like him a lot. I feel like he's definitely rough around the edges. Like I think, you know, it's his first competitive season. He just started playing. There's definitely things he can work on, but I like how much fun he has. They are the best team in Academy, right? Or they're looking like the best team. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good like match as a team to see like, hey, what do we need to really work on as a team? Like, what is Team Liquid Academy doing better than us? Or are they doing anything better than us? We'll see.
I mean, someone that they talked about a lot was Eden, someone who we didn't really talk about too much yet while looking over the rest of the squad. There is a lot of positive things to be said, as well as a couple little tidbits of, you know, a little rough around the edges, a couple things to, you know, fix. But Cubby, what are we liking out of Sheeden so far? Because there has been a lot of promise.
Sheeden, for me, has really lived up to the expectation that this guy has insane hands and knows how to play through himself.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what we've seen from Sheeden, at least in the early weeks. It's why C9 were able to pick up one win in week 1. But I think what we are seeing out of Sheeden is now that Darshan is back, some team play. Him setting up around top and around Darshan was a path to success. It helped them net that win against EG, where Sheeden also flamed Horizon Tomio by the end of the game. And I love seeing him, again, make that gank, blow the flash, but also revisit. He skipped over all of his camps to go back top and make sure that Surdy died again early. That's the kind of stuff that I like to see out of my competitive junglers. And the more that Sheeden shows that he can play on this stage, we know his hands. Like, literally the only thing limiting this guy is himself. And I cannot wait to see Sheeden really hopefully live up to the mantle of the player that we think he can be. Because C9 fans might call me crazy for saying this. I believe that Sheeden can be better than Blabber. He is more gifted when it comes to playing mages. He has better solo queue achievements than Blabber. He is younger, but also someone that I feel like he can round out and be someone that is literally an LCS MVP ceiling. And so the more that Sheeden really fills out those shoes, the more excited I get about this roster. And he has a great chance to prove that today against Armeo.
Has a ridiculously high ceiling. I would have loved that for the hot take segment because I don't even know how many peppers I would have been able to give it. But I think you're right. I think you're right, Cubby. Like Sheeden has shown a lot of stuff, but there's still a lot of room to grow. And I cannot wait to see what he brings in this particular matchup.
So then what is it that we're most looking for him to be able to switch up to start getting a little bit closer, climbing a couple rungs on that ladder to LCS greatness that you're looking for, Cubby?
I honestly, I mean, the thing about Sheeden is the fact that, you know, I think the best sign so far is that his teammates like playing with him. They've said it in the interviews so far, because again, Sheeden, he's someone that we haven't seen him play competitively for the last year and a half just because of his behavior in solo queue. That's step one to cleaning up your act and making sure that you want to go pro. There's never been a question about Sheeden's talents. Sheeden is someone that would have had an academy spot if he was behaving in solo queue a year and a half ago, and at this point would probably be an LCS, but that's not the case. It's his first chance to compete on the big stage, and honestly, I think it's the biggest game that he's seen so far. Full rosters here for C9. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Sheeden can do.
All right, well, let's get to it then. Let's not wait any longer. It is time to head into the champ to select to see what Cloud9 can pull out against Team Liquid. Let's go.
All right, thank you very much, Sierra. We are into picks and bans with C9 Academy. Full roster in now on the blue side for game number 1 up against Team Liquid Academy on the right. They are going to ban away that Talia. That is some respect being paid towards Sheeden. We did see in the highlight reel.
Sheeden's Talia, it's 2-0, and it also opens up Copy to play a lot of the 80 mid laners where Copy's looked great on. I think the wins last week, he was on the Yone, on the Aurelia. These are champs that I really feel like Copy specializes in, and also has put a lot of time, TLC in, when it comes to his Korean solo queue achievements. Yone was the second most played on his climb to Challenger in that boot camp, and I really feel like we're seeing Copy start to get more comfortable in the split. I think he had a tough week 1 along with the rest of C9, but as he's getting used to playing with Sheeden, he's getting used to playing with this full roster, starting to be the Copy that we know he can be. We'll see if he can step up against Harry in this matchup.
Absolutely. I do think we could be in for Yone contest, considering both these mid laners have already shown it. There is going to be another Kindred ban away. Yeah, absolutely. And Harry is definitely a player I've seen for a number of years, going back to Samos times as well. That's going to be the Karma banned out by TLA at the end of it all. So trying to hit a little bit of the Enchanter push, but I think Senna maybe comes. Oh, that's the Zeri ban, though, the last on red, but I think that may be what Liquid go to after this.
It's got to be the Senna Kench. Look, at least that tells me what the Karma ban is aiming at, unless they have a different answer. Wukong's left up, and it's actually going to be Wukong locked in. I think it's worth noting we only have one game of Wukong for Sheedan so far. Again, not a champion that he was known for in solo queue, but one that, every jungler has to play, given the strength of Wukong at the moment. And we'll see if Sheedan's Wukong is up to the task.
It's also a takeaway from Arameo. I mean, obviously, it's a big meta pick right now, but it has been his most played champion so far this split. So for Team Liquid, they're going to have to drop onto something different. We've already seen the Volibear ban away. Viego, that's kind of the next one in the pool. In fact, it's the last jungler left up that he has played so far. And they are going to go ahead and get that early lock-in on the Ezreal.
Ezreal meta, it's all about poke. Yawn, Ezreal's always been one of his best champions. He's 4-1 on it so far this split. It's been fantastic. And we'll see what kind of answer C9 has. I expect them to take a bot lane. Curious if we end up getting a Kai'Sa. I don't think it's going to be a Kai'Sa for King, given the Yuumi. But it is a takeaway, as you mentioned, Pyra, as Yuumi already has a couple passengers in the Wukong, in the Ahri. And C9, we'll see what kind of plays they can make with the cat.
Yeah, that's going to be some real zoomies going on. Just like my cat running around just in Champ Select. You couldn't see it, but he was right at my feet. That's going to be the Renata lock-in for Ayla, so they will get a little bit of counter-engage for themselves. I do like that, given how much speed engage the C9A already have. So, I mean, Renata can be a bit risky, but I think we have seen Ayla, we have seen Ayla already played a couple of times in this split, and hasn't lost on it.
It's a lane-dominant pick. And I think that with Karma removed, Renata still matches some of the archetype of, having the early poke, having the early push for Team Liquid. And Yawn and Ayla have done so much with that throughout the season, as now we're going to see a couple of bans being thrown. A King is someone that, we've seen the Twitch be played. I know it gave Yawn a headache as Arrow played it into him in the second game. They've faced IMT in the past week. It was a different matchup, but that will be taken off the board. And I'm curious what ends up happening with the Kai'Sa. Historically, that's the counter that we've seen in the Ezreal. We saw Spawn play it earlier today. But it also doesn't pair very well with the Yuumi. And so I'm really wondering what C9 has cooked up for Yuumi pairings. Because most of them are starting to run out.
Yeah, they're getting rid of the Vayne as well. So Vayne and Twitch already off the board. Some big stealth, lots of high playmaking potential. And also ban an Olaf away against the side of Liquid. That one's targeted at Bradley, which, we didn't really get a chance to talk about it. But I think when we were going over our notes for this matchup, Bradley was potentially somebody that we could look at C9A maybe trying to attack and put on the back foot. So denying him a power pick does seem like a good play.
His Olaf's been 3-0 in this split. It's been pretty good. And honestly, it tells me that Darshan might be setting up for something like a Gangplank, one of the matchups that we've seen. As Team Liquid, the double Miramana poke between Ezreal and Corki, it's something that we've seen in past metas, and it's definitely one that's dominant in this one, as Team Liquid opting for a very late game-centric comp, but has push early in the lanes. And honestly, we'll see if C9 copy Sheedan are going to have to work together to try and open up this map, because if TL are allowed to scale, we've seen what Corki plus Ezreal can do in the later stages of the game. So C9 have to get things going early.
Yeah, I mean, that is so disgusting, because even if you try to get the push in, you're going to have Renata to be able to push you back on the hostile takeover. Gangplank does come through. I think it's been banned pretty much consistently today, so Darshan will get a shot at it. I don't think he's played it yet in the summer split. So we will get to see our final pickups here. It is really, what is King going to play? Will it be the Kai'Sa counter pick, or will it be something different?
Kai'Sa Yuumi just doesn't synergize that well. As Kai'Sa, you want CC with it to, proc the plasma or the passive, get some more stacks. But that's one. Okay. We haven't seen a lot of Triss so far. I gotta say, it doesn't deal that well with all the range that Team Liquid is packing, but if C9 get an early kill, if Triss is allowed to Goomba stomp throughout a fight, it is something that synergizes all right with the Yuumi. Now we're gonna have to see. Yeah. We'll see what Bradley now has for the Gangplank. Gwen is on the board, is a champion that Bradley's been known for. We've seen a lot of Gwen Gangplank handshakes. That will not be the case. Yeah, they see C9 wanted to jump in. It's gonna be Aatrox.
All right, so I mean, there's a fair bit of power being packed on both sides, but how well does that work into that double Miramana poke that we were seeing Team Liquid set up from before?
C9 have to get the pace of the game going early. This Wukong, this Ahri, they have to try and get out of the mid lane and try and snowball other parts of the map. I think that's the real game plan, because once Ezreal, Corki get 2 items plus, C9 are going to get, they're going to eat a lot of poke damage, get chipped out from those objectives. So really want to keep our eyes on Sheedan. Again, this is a champion where Sheedan, he's made a name for himself playing a lot of carries. I think that Sheedan's been playing really, really well, though, in his Academy debut, which frankly I expected from someone that, had his reputation coming into the split. But it's Wukong's a pick that you can't power farm, which I feel like is when Sheedan's at his best. It's when he's been taking away enemy quadrants of jungles, and he's been propelling himself just to unfathomable levels of Fed, where no one can deal with him. You cannot do that on Wukong. So I want to see if Sheedan can pick his spots and pick them correctly, because if you make mistakes against Armeo, Armeo will blow you out of the water. If this guy gets a lead, he does not let it go. So really want to see if Sheedan can be smart, because him and Ari need to work together to snowball the rest of the map, or else C9 will get outscaled.
Yeah, can Sheedan go ahead and be that facilitator for Copy this game? Will we see some more movements around the map to try and snowball elsewhere, or will it be a Team Liquid victory yet again? We are about to start this one, so let's get ready to get onto the Rift for our third match of the day.
Oh, I'm excited about this one, Pyra. We've been asking early in the season, who can challenge Team Liquid? This is a roster where they feel like they were built to be the top of the table of Academy. And I feel like it is C9 returning to a lot of their identity of what they have been as an org, having these really strong developmental teams with pieces that could potentially be high-level LCS players in the future. That is what Sheedan and C9 are built around. And I want to see if that happens.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on Sheedan in this game. I think everybody should be, to be honest. And as we get underway onto the Rift here, we're already getting to see some movement as he just gets the ward down. You'll be able to spot if Armeo goes ahead and start up. But of course, that full information is kind of given both ways. It means that Jan and Alec can kind of go in here as well. They're spotted on wards too. And I think we probably won't see any crazy aggression. I thought for a second, maybe there's a chance. But you don't really want to take something like a charm that early for Copy. You're not really going to risk that for trying to get just a quick pick onto Armeo.
And it will be mirrored starts here for each jungler, as Wukong will be leashless, whereas Armeo going to get a little bit of help that is spotted. We'll see if Darshan can take advantage of this in the lane. As you can see him cruising to try and get to that Tribe Rush. See if Bradley is smart, goes the long way around. If not, he's going to take some damage. And oh my god, Darshan?
Yep. That's
interesting.
That's Gangplank, even early. He's going a little deep there, but not
it's calculated.
Anything. Yeah, it's fine.
He is.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he's trying to zone out Bradley from the melee creeps. I think that Darshan, though, unfortunately did miss one. I can't see the experience bar on Bradley's champion. Darshan did miss experience from one melee. Not sure how much was denied from Bradley. Looks like a little bit more. So Darshan did win out on that play. Someone that has always spec'd for level 1s. And you can see him really trying to take it to Bradley. Take advantage of all the power you get with Grass Gangplank early in this lane.
Yeah, he's going to give Bradley a hard time in this lane, trying to shut that Aatrox down as much as possible. So he might be looking to be a lot more self-sufficient this time around. You do see, of course, in the mid, keeping an eye on Copy when Sheedan may look to come in here after he gets his clear off. Of course, a little early, he's only level 2 just yet, but after 3, that might start to change just a bit. As we get underway in this one, Harry getting that wave pushed in, and of course, the Gatling gun.
And you can see, because Armeo was given that leash early, he is ahead in the clear. We will see if Sheedan skips over any camps to try and get up towards that top side where Darshan is going for that 3-wave crash. And yeah, that's the game plan. Skipping over the entire top side to try and capitalize off the aggressive laning from Darshan. I will say this wave is crashing a little bit late. Usually want to crash on the cannon. So Sheedan's going to be wasting a little bit of time, but still more chip damage from Darshan to get Bradley low.
They've got him low enough to be able to set that dive up. I think this is building. It has to work, though, because Sheedan's taken so much time off, but he fully reveals. Bradley knows he's going to have the best flash of his career thus far, and he is not even going to try to go for the outplay. Instead, it's Darshan that flashes, but too late. The tower aggro goes through. We got first blood in the trade. Meanwhile, we're not done yet because Copy trying to sidestep off Armeo, and Blade the Rune King does barely eke it out.
Really nice sidestep there from Copy as Sheedan, at least on the bright side for C9, check the inventories for both Darshan and Bradley and also the experience. It was a win for the side of C9, but Armeo is trying to punish Sheedan. Nice clone. He's down a level, though.
Yeah, he is. Darshan going to come in here for a
Harry's
little bit of
coming.
relief. So is Harry.
Oh, they
I
win?
think they will just let that one go. Crab won by C9. The real victory.
Darshan's going to take the long way. We'll see if Armeo decides to get aggressive. His smite was burned from Sheeden. He will get it back up, though, for the blue. Just going to take the ward. He's actually going to cruise around. At least threaten. As, again, if you make any mistakes from Armeo, he's allowed to get ahead at all. He will punish. And that's exactly what Armeo's doing here. Sheeden will take the blue buff. Armeo will not find it, but this Gromp should be property of Team Liquid.
Yeah, I think they're going to make him pay on that one for sure. Okay,
Yeah.
meanwhile, Ayla got a little bit out. Going to be taken
Copy's
low
here.
as Jan wasn't there. Now, Armeo and Bradley are both here. That Gromp has kind of just been sat for a bit. They're really making him pay back and forth. A lot of micro attention being paid
Furious.
inside this jungle by both teams.
Sheeden was not able to hit level 4, but Copy is here. See if Bradley can sidestep.
All right, Armeo. He's forced to flash the wall on that one. Oh, the charm does connect into the Orbit Deception. Bradley
No flash.
really
He's
doesn't
got a
have
dash.
anywhere to go. He's going to have to dash that wall. I don't think he has it off cooldown, and Darshan gets the kill.
So Team Liquid making some mistakes around how they play it going into the jungle. As Sheeden, this early game plan from him and Darshan, getting Bradley behind. It's a successful dive, even if Darshan did fall. Didn't go exactly how they planned, but Darshan getting a bonus kill in the back half from the failed invade from TL. Great start here for C9.
And what did we talk about? How the C9 attack plan, one of the things we thought could work well for them is attack Bradley, try to keep him on the back foot. Now, focus has been up there, and look at that, 1 and 2 on the Aatrox. Darshan gets a little bit of bank as well. I wonder how much more attention is going to be paid by Sheeden top side.
Darshan's in really good shape at the moment. As I will say, the one saving grace here for the side of Team Liquid is the fact that Armeo, he's going to have a really healthy base. Was able to farm up quite a bit on this first clear. I think despite the failed invade, Armeo still was able to find a successful start to the game on the Viego. But the things we were asking early, we asked for Sheeden to get involved. And that is exactly what Sheeden's been able to do on this Wukong. Making sure that his top laner is set up for success. We also asked for Copy, utilizing the push of the Ahri to help out Team Liquid. They overextended, trying to take that blue buff. Copy got involved. C9 checking all the boxes early to make sure that they can be ahead. At least in the mid game, where they really have to hit these early spikes in order to punish Team Liquid. So I think it's a very good start here for C9, and we'll see if TL can recover, as I think the first step towards that is taking advantage of the strength of their bot lane and trying to take this crab. We'll see if they take the dragon as Sheeden.
All right.
Wow.
They're going to get a little bit of poked by Jan, but no, it seems like C9 are more than happy to grab themselves the crabs and
Copy had prio.
flex for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Copy had move. Harry was coming out of base. So, again, Sheeden showing some patience and taking the crab away. As Sheeden, props to him. He was the one that put himself behind on that first clear. And look at the CS. Sheeden's pretty much caught up. And I'd say sitting at 1-0-1, getting his top laner ahead. It's been a great start to the game for C9 and for Sheeden. This big developmental prospect. Again, Sheeden and Copy really wanted to play together in this offseason. And they wanted to be on the same team. These guys really believe that they can be the top of table in Academy. And these two guys have to be proactive on the map early. I'd say that, especially with the start Sheeden's had, they're doing just that.
100%. Checking in our mid lane here, of course, Harry does have a slight edge in that farm, but Copy's been able to really keep him off the tower for a while. So, honestly, I feel like that's kind of what C9 are trying to do here is Copy's going to be looking to try and help some of the setup for the plays later on. Keep in mind that late game, double Muramana poke, it's going to be very hard to break through for C9, but if they can get some advantages early on like they are here, 700 gold to lead.
Yeah, look at the top lane. So this is a big wave that Darshan is going to slowly stack up to try and crash into Bradley. Armeo is here to defend preemptively. We can see Sheeden actually rotating over as well. We'll see if Armeo goes, as Darshan still doesn't have flash.
No, he's a couple seconds away from getting it, but he was able to walk the distance. Of course, oranges also help. And Sheeden now in on this Herald. Going to start this one off blind. Team Liquid wrapping around the side, but they have to know this is happening. And it looks like they're thinking about a contest, but I think they're going to give it up.
Bradley, though.
He's low. He's very low. Actually drops his own ult, flashes into the brush. They're going to bring both King and Destiny up here, and Bradley bites off more than he could chew as they pop a kill into King.
And because of the full rotate, so Jan didn't follow. Jan's going to be taking solo plates and getting solo gold XP from the creep spot. I think it's the right move from Team Liquid, as they are not as strong at the moment. We'll see if they can get anything in the back half, though, as King, Destiny staying a little far, and TL, they do have the numbers advantage. But, oh
good
boy.
movement there. They even
Hold
dropped
on.
the final chapter. My goodness!
Oh.
Armeo gets a bailout, but he's dying. Goodbye. King gets 2.
What a start for C9. And again, TL, last week, yes, they crushed. But it was against 2 teams that we have middle of the standings. This is a team we expect to be top of the standings in Academy. The first week they're playing full strength. They have shown up early here, Pyra, as C9 doing everything they need to do in this early game to make sure they have a lead. It's 1.5K gold. They have Shelly in their back pockets, and Darshan, he wins these.
Yeah, he's running around just being able to take down Jan, who really wants to try and contest him, but he's gangplank. You're going to flash, true shot. Actually, it was a lot closer for comfort than it needed to be, but Darshan still claims the kill, and it's all coming up C9 in this early game. Cubby 2-1 for the gangplank, 2-0 for the Tristana. They've got early leads, and we just hit 10 minutes.
I think if Jan sent that true shot barrage in the right direction, I think he wins. I actually couldn't tell if that clipped the GP or not. That was actually
very close. And there was a big mini
almost
win, too.
really well played by Jan. Unfortunately, that is not the case. And Team Liquid, TL are going to be so far behind in this mid game. Look at the inventories. It is already a Kraken Slayer completed for this Tristana. Contesting this dragon for TL, it is off the table. Even with Corki package, if Harry were to base and grab it, I don't think they can play around this dragon. So C9 again, everything is off. Everything is going the way that they need it to go early. As we get a second look, Darshan, he is ahead in items, ahead in base, as Jan was, of course, staying down here, catching up on some plates, on some waves. We're going to take a look to see if the R flash did end up working.
Let's see, do we get our answer? Come on, Jan. Flash in, true shot. Oh, he goes backwards. Oh, he did. Wait.
Oh, he did get it. It just. Oh, yeah. Okay. The orange was okay.
It was the.
Well
So
played.
it made up all the difference. It was literally the difference in the health bar. I was confused too because the particles were very close there.
It was close. Yeah. Okay. He got him.
But yeah. Okay. Orange is
Okay.
good. More
Nice
of the story.
attempts.
Eat it
Yeah,
orange.
nice
It's
attempts.
okay.
Not quite it.
Also, Dragon 2.
Yeah. C9 again. I mean, the map is theirs. King is going to be able to knock down these structures so quickly. No one can contest this Tristana at the moment, and for TL, I think one of the concerns that I have for them going in later is that it's really going to take Corki to get 2+ items to be able to contest C9 in these side lanes. So I think C9 are going to rule the Rift here for the next 10 minutes of the game. And I really want to see how much they can get and how TL can respond. This is where TL is so good, staying controlled. Darshan does have ult. See if he can survive this. Should ult himself under turret.
Yes, he is. They're going to bring the teleport, actually, and he might die, but no, he stays alive, and Copy comes in, looking for the kill, does not land the charm onto Yon. Our reception does go in our mail. Can't quite land on that Blade of the Rune King. Here comes Harry as well, but I think this should be over. They can't really keep the contest. Harry really wants it, though.
Harry can
Spirit
at least
Rush.
chase off Copy, and Armeo can at least get the Grom, so it's not like it's nothing for the side of Team Liquid, but it will be Harry returning mid. Okay, not actually going to get Copy off, so C9, they do burn a TP, but they survive, as now Bradley, he's got to be careful.
Oh, dear. We've seen this
Kraken
before.
Slayer Trist.
Oh!
Oof.
Oh, my goodness. That is disgusting. Bradley is going to be walking away, just barely, more like limping at this point. That is going to be first brick down bottom. King
Calculated.
gets it. They even tank a few tower shots off the back, and C9 continuing to add to their gold lead this game.
4K gold advantage. They did it the way that we saw them win some games last week, which was playing through Darshan on this top side. The setup that Darshan had from the level 1 to that 3.5, 4-wave stack with Sheet and diving, honestly was beautiful. And team, like TL still has not recovered from that. I really don't see how TL recover from that until they get Corki at 2.5+ items. So again, I feel like the map is all C9 at the moment. The one saving grace for the side of Team Liquid is the fact that the Dragon was taken late. So at least the Dragon stacking and the Soul could be delayed for the side of C9, which again, I think they need to match some of the scaling that Corki Ezreal are going to be throwing at them. But we will have to see if C9 can deliver.
Certainly seems to be the case so far right now, and already getting mythics starting to pop up. You mentioned that early Kraken Slayer for the Tristana. Well, it's going to be joined, of course, by the Divine Sunder from Sheeden. And I think the question about, if he can be more of a facilitator, excuse me, compared to a carry player, so far the answer to that has been yes. He has been setting his team up for success. And I think we've seen everyone on C9 really have some solid moments so far as Darshan going to get the wave crashed into him, pretty low on that tower. But Bradley has just not been able to outplay the gangplank. I guess you could argue a 1-for-1 trade early on wasn't too bad, but since then.
Still was losing a wave and a half, despite him playing that out pretty well. Was worth it for the side of C9, as now C9 and Sheeden looking to utilize the absurd power of Wukong with Divine Sunder in the game. As at the moment, these things have slowed down a little bit for the side of Team Liquid. It is still a 3.5k gold deficit for our top dogs on the red side. C9, again, one of the challengers that we expect to be pretty good against TL in this split, and Bradley finding a nice trade. At least recovering a bit in this bot side, but while the solo laner's isolated down there, Rift Herald's up, and C9 set their sights on it. Should not be contested.
Yeah, they've got enough map control to be able to keep these neutral objectives unlocked for the time being. And, okay, maybe sniffing with the True Shot Barrage. I didn't think that was angling for the objective, just trying to find some damage instead. This time, Sheeden will go ahead and pick up that Herald. They're going to get that back. King, meanwhile, continually shredding waves, shredding towers. One of the big, powerful things about picking Tristana, King actually steps up and takes tower shots. Okay. All right. He's a confident man.
King, you don't have your kitten with you at the moment.
Ooh,
you can't do that. It's a little bit punishing.
Yeah. I do like every time they've gotten a kill so far, King has flashed the Mammoth logo. For those of you that may not know King's history or the Oceanic region as well, we talked about it at the top of the show. King is one of the winningest and having the most accolades, I think, of almost any player in Oceania. I think with something like 5 OPL trophies, which of course the OPL doesn't exist anymore, but they do have a league. And
LCL.
on top of it, LCL, they do have
some wonderful people over there.
They are wonderful people, in fact. You know a number of them personally. Now, King has also been to Worlds a number of times. That's where you get that Mammoth logo flashing.
Yeah.
As he played on that team with Destiny.
Yes.
And Fudge.
Yes, that was the team where he was paired up with Destiny. So good to see King and Destiny, being renewed. It's a fun story. This is where I wish we had Pastry Time with us, as he is the master of all things Oceanic history. But I believe
I do love me some Pastry story time.
In the words of Pastry Time, King has won more OPL/LCO titles than any org in Oceanic history as an individual. That's how successful King was in his time in the Oceanic region.
Yeah, for multiple orgs as well. Yeah, Mammoth, and of course, I believe Direwolves as well.
Yes. So King, very impressive history over there, as looking to continue his career here. As second Herald going to crash. It will be a Dragon traded over, so C9 actually going to drop that for some gold, but we'll see if they can pick up this inner turret, as Ayla going to burn the ultimate. Won't mean that C9 at least cannot take it on this wave. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody gets hit by the hostile takeover. However, they do get the catch onto Yon, and with the Gangplank ulti dropped, he's taken down on this one. Darshan claims the credit. The TP's actually canceled as Harry comes in on the package Valk, but he's just going to get delivered straight into the waiting arms of Sheeden now. They haven't even taken the tower in this one.
Flash!
Absolutely crazy fights in this jungle. Ayla does get out scot-free at the end.
Watch
and
Bradley.
Armeo is forced to heartbreak away Bradley around the side. They're going to keep on going. This has been an absolute slap fest
Charm Flash?
between these two teams.
Ooh.
Oh boy. Oh, I'm going to take a breather after that one, Cubby.
TL, they tried to fight C9 during a spike. Again, C9, this is where C9 are so absurdly strong. It is Ahri on Everfrost. It is Wukong on Divine Sunder. C9 made the proactive play. Team Liquid thought the C9 were too deep. That was not the case, as Darshan, C9, they hold strong. And they push this gold advantage now to 5k gold, Pyra.
Yeah, this is getting pretty big, as Team Liquid are really going to try to hold on some of those late games. Let's take a look at what just happened again. It was very back and forth for a sec after this Rift Herald charge.
So Rift crashes. I respect the ult here from Ayla, the hostile takeover, just to try and save this turret a little bit longer. But the real issue happens on the backside, as Yon is getting chased around by Sheeden. Was forced to Arcane Shift over and Flash, and Sheeden still connected with both knockups, and then Sheeden showing off some of his mechanics here. I know Sheeden goes down, but him buying enough time, like A, taking Harry, and then B, buying enough time to make sure Armeo doesn't instantly reset, I think that was really good. Just making sure that his team could recover. The Armeo reset couldn't be used to the greatest, fullest extent, and it meant that C9, they get a 1-for-1 and win out in structures.
Yeah, really good in some of these chaotic fights. Now, Copy is going to have a little bit of trouble here. However, he's going to try to get the outplay as he is deep. He does have the teleport coming in. Some help from Darshan. The Charm lands onto Armeo, and they just chunk him out as he's forced to ult away. But meanwhile, some Ezreal revenge is nearly enough there, but Darshan will claim the life of Harry.
Oh, what happened mid?
Kills for King in the mid lane. I gotta see that one in a replay because all of a sudden 4 members of Team Liquid are dropped.
And Cloud9 Academy, these guys have only been scrimming together this week. C9 tweeted out yesterday, hey, we finally had our LCS scrims. That meant that yesterday was literally the first day this roster scrimmed as 5. These guys were built to win Academy. They believe that they have the ceiling, the potential to do so. And what they are doing against Team Liquid, who, keep in mind, nearly had a perfect game last week, set the record for the fastest game we've ever had in Academy just last week. They are stomping them in this first game, Pyro.
This is massive right now for C9. Darshan,
All right, Darshan's down.
Is very likely going to
That's
die
fine.
here, barring some absolute miracle. There we go. Shutdown gold falls to Harry. But you're absolutely right, Cubby. This is huge. This is just a ridiculous roll right now for C9. Let's take a look at what happened. I believe this was going to be from downtown. Ezreal sends that shot, but here's the mid lane play. Tristana with the dunk, baby.
Goomba stomp time, baby. As Yawn, no chance to live through that one. Kraken Slayer, Tristana, if she gets on top of you, you are melting. And oh man, they cleaned them both up at the same time. That's some good stuff there.
I respect a player that jumps in on Tristana. That takes a lot of guts, and King knows exactly what his limits are.
It takes a lot of guts. I feel like that one's pretty calculated though, but King.
Oh, all right, he hops back. This time that was
Nice
the defensive
flash.
maneuver, but the charm does land, which saves the lives of King. And the turnabout once again as Hoppy claims the kill into Armeo. Bradley gets a bailout.
Yawn.
They're going to turn it around. Final chapter.
Watch
That's
Yawn,
already
watch
one
Yawn.
Kill traded for the 2. Let's see if Yawn can make something happen here with the poke. This is where we expect Team Liquid's comp to start having some strength, even if they are behind in the game. And it'll be the reset. 1-4-2 trade.
TL do lose out on the trade, but honestly, that was close to really shifting in their favor, and they will at least get an objective bounty for it on the back half. Meanwhile, Darshan.
Okay, good barrel takes right now.
Oh.
They're not letting him get the chain
What?
off. Darshan's actually
Okay.
going to go down in this one. Yeah, hit him with the Teemo. They clowned on him.
Okay, TL, they aren't going down without a fight. Ui's going to take down the top laner C9 as, yeah, those barrels all denied. Yawn, at least they weren't able to take the objective bounty mid, but I feel like TL will happily take some of that shutdown gold, put it in their own coffers. And at least for the side of TL, again, they are down 7k gold, but look at the inventories of TL. 2 Muramanas that are evolved. This is where this comp really starts to hit its stride, really starts to get strong. C9 have done everything they can early to make sure they have the lead to weather the storm and outpower Team Liquid throughout this game. But they will be sacking this dragon. It will be an objective bounty going over to TL, but at what cost? King with a Kraken Slayer. They could melt through this Baron.
They're going to leave Armeo on this and try to contest the rest of the way around. As they won't be able to get the
Watch.
spike fight off, they can
Where's
start this one.
Darshan's
Let's
ult?
see where the Baron's at right now. It's already down to about half its health, and here comes Bradley. I think C9 maybe getting a little itchy. There we go. They back away. So call
gonna
the
lose mid too.
bluff.
Wow.
Team Liquid managed to get everything on the rift, and yeah, you said it was a big gold deficit. Not only are they cutting into it here, Cubby, but they have been able to fight through the deficit. This is where the power spikes start to happen.
That's significant. Tristana gets stronger, but she gets outranged so bad. I think the Bloodthirster was a smart tech here from King just to try and sustain through some of the poke. It's going to be pretty similar to what we saw in the game earlier on the stream, where it was Dignitas versus Golden Guardians game 2. It was the Kaisa versus the Ezreal Corki composition. If it's a straight-up 5v5, C9 has the DPS with the Tristana to out-damage Team Liquid. The issue is, Yawn and Harry have so much range, so much poke with the Mystic shots, with the rockets, that the goal for Team Liquid is to make sure that C9 can never fight on even footing. And so I really want to see if TL has the patience to do what Golden Guardians could not in that game against Dig. And we're going to have to really keep our eyes to see if Harry, Yawn, if they can play around the package timings and make sure that this poke connects against C9.
Absolutely. At the moment, you're really going to be relying on Harry Yawn to be able to dish that. It's been pretty good so far. I think what C9 have been able to do this game has been nothing short of amazing, though. And considering how stymied Bradley really has been, yes, he's going to be able to go toe-to-toe with Darshan now. But still, I think it's been very, very impressive all across the board. Darshan doesn't quite get the barrel connection he wanted to. I think Team Liquid's been pretty good at getting those barrels before he can, actually. That was it's a serious game of whack-a-mole as the Baron has not been started, and now that is confirmed by Team Liquid.
And they got to be well practiced. As a fun fact for Bradley, he's actually 12-0 on Gangplank in his career. So,
Wow.
yeah, if anyone's going to know how to play into it, it's probably Bradley. As his Prowler's Claw Gangplank always is terrifying. Former mid-laner, of course. Gangplank kind of plays like a mage in ways.
He's sort of a weird, like, he kind of occupies this weird middle ground, right?
Yeah.
Like, he has a ranged on-hit attack that's a spell that can crit. You know, he's got a number of mage-like abilities, and he's got a global ultimate. Very fun champion. Goes back a long, long time as well.
Ooh. So let's keep our eyes out, as Copy, with that sweeper, actually did miss the ward in the red buff here for Team Liquid. But, again, really have to keep our eyes on C9, as it really feels like, you know, that Dragon falling, the turret falling, C9 getting nothing in return. TL now have something to stand on. And you can see they're not checking their jungle. They're being very disciplined, staying in their lanes, making sure they aren't going to face check any of C9. That's intelligent on the side of TL, as they just ulted the top side of the map. They were playing through the top side, as C9 were trying to wrap around on bot. And now,
there's that poke
that's
coming
a 5-man
through.
stack.
Yeah, it's only 4 members. Obviously, they have the Gangplank pushing into Silent. Of course, Darshan does have access to both his Cannon Barrage and his Teleport if he wants to get involved. C9, they know they can't take a sustained amount of poke because then they will be zoned out of the fight. But at the very least, while they're running him around the map, Darshan gets a tower.
Good stuff, as the Viego is scouted. Bradley is still in no man's land. As TL, they don't have the tools to find and engage. That's one of the things that's a little bit lacking on the side of TL. They're expecting C9 to run into them, as now Bradley, seeing Darshan too far up.
Here comes the teleport in,
that's
though, and they're
deep.
going to try
That's
to close the gap on this one. That's going to be an instant stun for Copy. However, he does manage to at least pull them away here.
Nice
Darshan
flash.
trying for an extended 1v1
He's got no ult.
into the ultimate, and that's a shutdown onto the Ahri. Copy goes down in this fight, but so does Bradley, as it's a fight on a couple of fronts here. Armeo desperately trying to get back to the rest of his team, but gets knocked up by that ultimate. However, Darshan was in no man's land himself and could not get out. It's a 1-for-2 extended.
And that TP from Copy, it's too deep. He doesn't have access to Spirit Rush. So really, really well played by Armeo to make sure that instantly gets stunned, instantly gets taken down. Darshan was zoned off in the back half. C9 overreach a little bit again, and that gold lead continues to suffer.
Oh boy, starting to see the power coming back here. Darshan really wanted this 1v1 as he was getting cut off by Bradley. You can see the heal coming through at the end, but Copy didn't land anything.
I mean, the flash from Armeo is really nice to get around that charm. Just guarantee the fact that this Ahri goes down. And hey, again, I think that TP from Copy, right idea, too far in. If that ward is in, you know, that lane brush, I think it's fine. But the fact that that ward was in the middle of the jungle, that TL was rotating to help out Bradley in, just too much.
Not a whole lot they could do after the fact. So, the gold deficit continues to be cut into. Harry has package up. It's going to be another dragon here. This is Ocean Soul Point for Team Liquid. They want to take it. And last time around, we saw the handshake trade. I think C9 are just running up for the Baron. As True Shot Barrage will clip onto a couple here, and Team Liquid know they can take that dragon after a fight just as easily as before.
Darshan.
Oh no, they've caught Darshan on the back here, and he's going to get popped. Really not a whole lot he could do there. Even trying to grab a little honey fruits denied, and I don't think C9 were ready for that fight.
And C9, even with this gold advantage, it feels like an even game. The fact that Team Liquid, their comp has scaled to this point, package being up for Corki is such a huge point of power, and TLA feels strong enough with Darshan off the table to actually start up this Baron.
They are going to do it. No Cannon Barrage to worry about. 25 seconds remaining. We could go for Sheet and Steel on this one, but C9, they are not going quietly into the night here as they just delete Bradley off the map. And it's back to a 4v4 package bout. Harry exhausted on King.
He's down.
Has the eye of the tiger. As they jump into the pit, they will claim the triple kill. The Baron should be able to take down Ayla, and King is not done yet for the Quadra. They get the ace, and the Baron's on.
Oh my god, just like that, that's game. C9, this entire game, C9 has been ahead, but Team Liquid were slowly fighting back, finding these windows, punishing C9 and their patience. But the moment that TL steps out of line, C9, they group up, they take them down, and they're going to take game one against our top dogs.
Absolutely. C9 find the power where they need it. What the hell was that fight is what I'm saying to myself at the end of that. King comes up huge, Sheeden with a massive Cyclone. That's going to be GG 28.5 as C9 with their full roster grabbing a win over Team Liquid.
Good stuff all around. I really have to praise Sheedan and Darshan with that early game plan. But also in the mid game, King and Destiny stepped up. 8-0-3 on the Tristana. 0-0-12 on the Yuumi as well. It felt like Destiny was there to support the plays of C9. King called a couple members of Team Liquid out when it comes to their rotations. Really good stuff from C9, and I'm interested to see how Team Liquid answers back. Once that top dive came down, it felt like they were behind trying to answer all the plays of C9 for the first 20 minutes of the game, and C9's too good of a team to do that against.
Certainly the case now. Team Liquid finding themselves in an unfamiliar position this split, down one game as they'll look to find an answer back. But we are going on a short break as we ponder all of that. We'll be right back.